It's the third week in August, and it's time for another garden update. We'll start back here with the squash. We've got that big one over there by the clothesline pole. And then we have some other ones showing up here and there. Getting a few pretty good sized ones. But it's kind of nice seeing some squash growing all summer without the vine borers killing it. This cucumber back here on this trellis has produced a lot of cucumbers, but it's seen better days. There's a big one there I've neglected to pick in the last few days, and I just noticed this morning, if you follow that vine, it reached up and grabbed that tree limb and has a cucumber up in the tree. That shows you how closely I'm paying attention to things. This Santa Fe Grande in this container's loaded with peppers. These are just a good little pepper. If you've never grown one, you might give it a try. Next to it is Explosive Ember, and it's starting to get some color on it besides the purple. Got one pretty red one there. And over there is a Sangria. It's getting lots of red on it. Marigolds are in full bloom. Let's get out there and look at some of the eggplants and the peppers. This Rosita's got a couple of eggplants on it. I'm going to go ahead and harvest those today. I'm going to cut that one back some. The Matoyo right next to it's got a couple that are ready to pick. I'm going to also cut it back. I don't know if it'll even have time to produce. The Aswad, I cut it back earlier, and it's really coming back strong. The long purple that I cut back is not doing so well, and I'm not sure if it's even going to make it or not, but it's got some green down at the bottom, so I'm still holding out hope for it. Over here we have this Ichabod 2. It's produced a lot of eggplants this year, and it's still got some fruit on it, but it's kind of getting swallowed up by everything surrounding it. This squash vine's invading its space. The marigolds kind of leaning over into it. The basil, cinnamon basil, is kind of an attractive plant, but it grows like crazy. I've cut it back so many times, and it just comes back strong every time. And then even the ghost pepper over here is invading its space. It's producing a lot of, it's setting on a lot of peppers. It's going to be loaded with peppers. I'm not sure how many of these will have time to mature, but it's got a lot of them on it. Then right next to it, the Poblano. Got lots of peppers on it. We need to do probably a pepper harvest soon. Oh, right below me here is the Violet Sparkle, and all these peppers are starting to mature. I think I'm gonna eat some of those and save some for seeds. Then we have another Buena Mulata over here. It's laid down from the storm, and I never have staked it back up, but it's got peppers on it. This fish pepper, I finally staked it up, and it's loaded with peppers. You can see them back in there. It's got that variegated foliage. And this is one of my little grafting projects. It's one of my hybrid peppers. There's some of the hybrid peppers right there. Well, the oat is next to that. It's not on the same plant, but here's the hybrid peppers. Then I did a graft down there of the Chinese 5-color pepper, and some of those are starting to get their second color. Start out purple. The other graft right here is the Buena Mulata, and it's got quite a few peppers on it to be a graft, and it's getting taller, so I might have to stake these soon. And of course right next to those is the Oda. Thinking about maybe entering some of those in the state fair, not sure. Just been toying with that idea. Then over here we have another graft I did. It's a jalapeno with an Oda grafted onto it. And there's a couple of pretty good sized Oda peppers on this, but the worms got them. I've never had much trouble with worms on my peppers, but this year I have. And while I'm talking about bugs, I see some droppings there, so now that the rain's over, I'm going to have to, I think, spray over here. We have the Santa Fe Grande peppers over here. Got lots of peppers on them. Albino bullnose. There's a little glasswing hummingbird moth right there. Might as well show him while we've got him. They're kind of cool to watch fly from flower to flower. He's just resting right now. There's a matoyo on the back side of the straw bale here. And the fish peppers. And there's the other straw bale. I'll show it from the other side. Here's the straw bales from the other side, and you can see the sweet potato vines have gone way out in the yard. There's a look at the Oda pepper I have in there, and the way they start out yellow, and there's a crabgrass seed stem I need to get rid of. Right next to it is a hybrid pepper, and it's still sitting on peppers. And I've noticed these will stay pretty green except for streaks of purple unless they're in the sunlight, and then they turn a very dark purple. Let me see if I can get back in there without tearing up too much stuff. See if we can get down there where the sunlight doesn't reach, and you can see it's got more green on it. Even more yet over here. But the one that's out in the sun's got lots of purple. And we have the petunia and the hollow log. Sweet potato vines are taking over. And there's a little pink banana that's been stepped on a few times, and it's still alive. I keep having to pull back sweet potatoes so I can get some sunshine. Then the tomatoes have had better days. Some of these I'm going to be pulling out soon. The tomatillos, we've got lots of them set on, but worms have gotten a lot of them. And they just don't seem to be maturing very quickly. I pulled the tomatoes off that straw bale and replanted, and some of my compost had some tomato seeds in it, and some of those are coming up. I've got several things planted there. We'll have to wait until they come up before I talk about them. And now that I'm to the eggplants over here in this straw bale, I'm going to have to get Tanya to help me. Tanya's holding this up for me so we can see what we got down here. As you can see, it's loaded with eggplants. And this is just one. And here's what it looks like on the other side. And there's, you know, more back in there. But this has been a very productive eggplant for us, the two in this bale. Planted some beetroot in that grow bag. Planted some lettuce over in that grow bag. And I think today I'm going to be harvesting one of these sweet potato grow bags. We'll see if we get anything. That banana tree is still growing pretty well. If you pushed up on one of these tall leaves, it'd probably be, I don't know, 8 feet tall. But they droop over, so it's not quite as tall looking, except when they first open up. When they first open up, it's probably close to being even with the bottom of that shed roof. The chickadees and the finches and the cardinals have been hitting the sunflower seeds on the sunflowers, the cotton. Let's go look at that real quick. Here's a look at how the cotton gets red flowers. This is the same plant, by the way, and it gets white flowers with pink edges on the same cotton plant. And this is Florida green cotton. It's really pretty red foliated leaves there, and it's just a cool looking plant. Never grown it. We'll have to wait and see. And I just now noticed the sweet potatoes have overtaken the area where the little pink banana is growing here. I keep having to pull them back everywhere, and just had a grasshopper land on the side of my head. That'll surprise you. I have one sunflower there that I covered the head of it because the birds were getting it. I was thinking about maybe entering it in the state fair. Here's one that the birds already got to. I talked about taking out the milkweed plants because of the tornado shelter we had put in. And it's interesting to see how I have milkweed plants coming up over here where we didn't have them before. So I don't know if those were pieces of root that got scattered when they dug the shelter. But look what we have here. Little monarch butterfly caterpillar. So they're still using them even though there's not much left of them. I transplanted a couple that are still alive over by the squash. So we're going to have milkweed. This time of year I start to shift into cleanup mode. If there's any plants that look like they might be getting a little disease, or if they don't have a chance to produce much fruit, then I go ahead and pull them out. And I'm going to be pulling some tomatoes out back in that corner there, and some cucumbers and other stuff. But let's get back in there and look at these peppers. I see I'm going to have to tie this one up. It's loaded with peppers and they're just really weighing the stems down on this plant. And this was kind of a mystery pepper. I didn't know what it was, but now that it's getting some color, I see that it's a Midnight Dreams pepper. It's just a bell type pepper that gets dark. We grew those last year. They seem to be a pretty decent little pepper. Then we have the Chinese 5-color pepper, and I see that it's getting some other colors on it. We've got red down there, yellow, orange, cream colored. It's kind of a cool little pepper. Then I have the Buena Mulata over here, and it's also starting to get some different colors other than the purple. And the Yacon, it's getting a little insect damage. Going to be harvesting some of that. The goji berry in the container, these things produce a lot of berries. Never grown them before, but it's been interesting watching it grow. We just bought this a couple of days ago, and I haven't even had a chance to plant it yet, but I thought I'd share it because I didn't even know this plant existed until just a few days ago. But it's a Rose of Sharon. I already grow some, but this one is quite a bit different. It has the variegated foliage, which is pretty cool, I thought. Then it has the pink double blooms, which is also pretty cool, but it also has one more feature that makes it stand apart from most Rose of Sharons, and that is it's seedless. So you don't have to worry about all those little seedlings around your Rose of Sharon bush every year. Can't wait to see how this does next year. It's not a great time of year to plant it, but we were at one of the local home improvement stores and saw it and just had to have it. The morning glories are really growing well. Here's one of the variegated type flowers. They have a kind of a white edge on them. That's what the foliage looks like. I use it for a ground cover, but looks like we have one that's trying to climb a little bit. Let's look at some of these other ones. They're kind of getting all mixed up because I've been too lazy to keep them separated. That one's kind of cool looking. Got that lighter blue edging to it. And we have another one over here that's a lighter blue color. Well, that's a look at how our garden's doing. I hope your garden's doing great. If you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Otherwise, like, comment, or share. We'll see you next time.